Episode of Realities may vary. The podcast that talks about whatever we want. Well, we know what we're going to talk about. I know what we're going to talk about, but do you want to know what we're going to talk about? Well, then I turn it over to the very professional sounding Cody Gough. Cody, hello. What are we talking about today?
Hello, Brian J. Noonan, Esquire.
The third
through fifth. It's weird how that works.
That's a lot of me.
Yeah.
Just a lot. Too much, some would say.
Oh, man. Well, after our patented, patent pending, those are two different things.
Ham-handed opening.
After our ham-handed 5-minute check-in, which is just always restricted to exactly 5 minutes. Hey, I went to Prop Day, Goose Island Prop Day. So I will talk a little bit about the Bourbon County Stouts for this year, which should be exciting. Plus a special preview of something we got going on next week that may or may not be related. Stay tuned. Brian has a story about going to Carbondale. He has been teasing this. I don't remember any details other than that he went to Carbondale. So get ready.
Yeah, I just went. It's very exciting.
And then, you know what? We're going to wrap up by talking about the economy. Because
very good. I know we have some pie charts. I know we have a lot of economic experts that are going to weigh in. So that should be fascinating.
Yeah. Who better to get your economic news, your economic predictions, your economic
dire straits?
Dire something.
Yeah, money means nothing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what we got going on today. Do you want to check in first? Because I feel like you.
No, I would love for you to check in first.
But Brian, I need an update.
To awkwardly wipe my nose.
Okay. Well, after you're done with that, I need an update on your mental and psychological well-being after last night's consternation, which does not mean you couldn't poop. I just found out your last week's consternation about the election. You were like, election day is coming. I'm worried about a red wave and the collapse of democracy.
Oh, that's right. We were on before the midterms.
What did you do, Brian? What happened?
Well, first of all, the world surprised me. Young people surprised me, Cody. If you remember, there was a little bit of me that was a tad hopeful about the Utes.
And I don't remember that. No, I don't remember that at all. I thought
I was hoping that the youth would come out because the old people had pretty much abandoned the democracy. So no, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that the red wave didn't come. I'm very happy that the candidates that were backed by the orange shit-gibbon former president did not get elected. Yeah, that's right. I know I said it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, so the Democrats have control of the Senate, which means Mitch McConnell is no longer a majority leader. And I said,
more like idiot McConnell.
Yeah, hot take, Cody. Very nice.
Thank you.
Him and his turkey neck are gone.
Yep.
The House still up for grabs, but this is breaking news. They have just called the Arizona governorship for the Democrat, not the crazy Carrie Lake. So I'm sure we will be having a lot of recounts and accusations. But overall, I think, the country did well. I think the Democrats should breathe a very slight sigh of relief and then try to get their act together. I think the Republicans need to realize that, and I think they are, that the real extreme candidates, and I think this goes for both parties, the real extreme candidates aren't winning on either side. You still have a few. But overall, yeah, I was shocked. I was pleasantly surprised. There's always cause for concern. I don't care what side you're on. I don't think the Democrats have a plan. I don't think they have, enough good candidates in the pipeline that they've been pushing and grooming. I'm going to love watching the Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump feud that's going to now explode. That'll be exciting to watch, especially since Trump is threatening to release all sorts of details that nobody knows about Ron DeSanctimonious, including his wife. It's going to be great to watch those two go after each other and just feed off each other. But while that's happening, I hope the Democrats are starting to circle their wagons and go, all right, we can't have the wild extreme candidates either. Everybody's got to come a little bit toward the middle, and things will go good. So overall, democracy did not end, Cody.
It's great.
I'm happy that democracy did not end.
I bet.
Yeah.
I think.
How about you? What did you feel about it? I know you don't
man.
like America.
I feel next to nothing about most things these days.
Wow, you're empty. That's
Yeah.
sad. You're an
Yeah,
empty
it's
vessel. You
you
need
know,
to be filled with something. I don't know what.
I actually think that the whole election thing kind of exemplifies the realities may vary part of this, because before the election, a couple days before, I saw my parents. No, it might have been that day or the day. It doesn't matter. I saw my parents very. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Kevin Smith thing.
Oh, that's right. That was the other thing that you went to do.
That was the other thing I went to do here. We're gonna. I saw Kevin Smith live, and I saw the Clerks 3, the review after Brian's Carbondale story. That just insert that in the intro. We don't do editing.
We don't edit. You
No,
get what you
no.
get. You don't have a fit, as they used to say at kindercare when Molly was a funky frog. But go ahead. You feel nothing about anything. You
Yeah,
saw
so
your parents and you realized you didn't love them either. This is
No.
taking a sad turn. I don't like it.
Well, they're the good ones. No, I like them. So
Okay, good.
But when I was at their place, my mom said something about something Trump, what Trump's been saying, what Trump's been doing, how she feels about Trump and her friends and Trump. Something. I was just like Brian, I legitimately, I swear to God, I was like, I am not aware. I was not this week. In fact, I still am not aware of a single specific thing Donald Trump has said in the last 6 months.
That's good. I wish I wasn't.
I didn't even know. I don't know what he has said or done. But what's funny is my parents, because I said my whole world right now is consumed with Elon Musk. He's the only person I'm hearing anything about. And my parents were like, why? What's going on with him? Oh, yeah. Didn't he buy Twitter or something? That's all they knew. Meanwhile, I'm inhabiting this social media space of Twitter where I'm, quite the veteran. By the way, thanks for the shout out,
Mike
Mike.
says you're en fuego on El Twitter.
Yeah, I was more active this week for sure, and I'm enjoying the chaos, but it is bizarre that, like, to me, I'm probably aware of everything that happened at Twitter last week, as internally as a company, which includes laying off
Like half the
thousands,
workforce. Yeah.
thousands of employees laid off, technical problems, impersonations, stock, like literally hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap in stocks being evaporated because of people taking advantage of this new system he put into place. And my parents didn't even know any of this.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me how, and I get it. And same with the crypto thing, the FTX explosion, that whole implosion.
Yeah. How are you doing in your crypto?
That has been a massive story. So has that hit more of the mainstream, would you say? Because you know what it is, or kind of what's going on.
Yeah, but that's my job, right? To know, to at least be aware of all this stuff, to know that that crypto exchange that all the big celebs backed blew up, to know about what's going on at Twitter, to know about those kind of things. That's what I'm supposed to know about. But, I don't think, and Debbie pays attention to stuff, but I don't think she would know more about the midterms than if I asked her about Twitter or Bitcoin or, cryptocurrency rather. But so I don't know how much in the mainstream some of these get. People get the mainstream. If you're paying attention, you have a headline on just about everything. Elon Musk bought Twitter and things aren't going well. You don't get into the weeds. About that crypto is not doing what it was supposed to do, and maybe a lot of these people lost a ton of money. You get that much, but then people have other things to worry about. I don't know. We're going to touch on it later. The economy is really, that worked very well for the Republicans to just harp on that, discounting the fact that every woman in this country had lost rights, and that was not that. And then I saw a thing where they were going, well, we can't believe all these young people came out to vote. Well, maybe if you weren't trying to strip away their rights, they'd stay home like they used to. But anyway, so your parents didn't know. Your parents kind of knew about Elon, but they didn't know about, or they knew about some stuff, but not about Elon and some other stuff.
Yeah, they didn't know about the inner workings. They didn't know about the whole Eli Lilly thing, which was like the highlight of my week. You thought
when they were going to give away free insulin. You must have been very excited about that.
Oh my God. I was conflicted. It's okay. So to back up real quick, On Twitter, you can get a verified blue check mark that indicates that you're someone of note, media, celebrity, a journalist, Brian or me somehow get lumped in there, a brand, right? It's just like, oh, this is official Coca-Cola, not Joe Schmo sitting in his parents' basement
Right.
trolling people. So Elon Musk, it's his like first day in office, I guess we could say. It's basically like, hey, engineers, in the next 24 hours, you need to make it so that if people pay $8 a month, they get the check mark. And like, if you don't make this happen, you're all fired or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he was laying down some insane deadlines.
Stupid. So he does all this and they do the check mark thing. Well, then everyone just buys check marks and starts impersonating brands. So my last week has been
Including him.
including dozens of Elon Musk impersonators, dozens. And fortunately, neither of us, Brian, are prominent enough for anybody to impersonate us, to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
Those
I don't know why you'd want to, but okay.
I don't know either. So people start impersonating brands. Well, someone impersonated Eli Lilly. Now, Eli Lilly, the pharmaceuticals company, their official handle is at LilyPad somehow. But they made it like Eli Lilly Co. or something, was not taken. So they just took it and gave themselves the Eli Lilly logo and gave themselves the name, and then tweeted that basically they were just like, we're proud to announce that insulin is now free. So this gets
I was
hundreds of
very excited too.
oh my God, hundreds of retweets, all this stuff. I immediately know that it's not real, of course.
Why?
As do
Because you're
many.
so much savvier than the rest of the world?
No, I
Yes.
was
Just say yes to that. Yes,
yes.
you are more savvy.
I thought about retweeting it because I'm like, it's funny and it makes them look like jerks because insulin's not free. They charge hundreds of dollars for the life-saving drug that was patented for $1 and is like dozens of years old, and they just gouge people who need it to live.
Yeah.
And it sucks, and it's totally parasitic. Well, I decided not to retweet it because I'm like, I don't want to spread misinformation and get anyone's hopes up. But what did happen is it's got all this attention, and then Eli Lilly had to put out a statement that was basically like, just kidding, it's not free. We actually still charge hundreds of dollars and gouge people. And they lost more than 11% of their stock price. 11%.
After the initial tweet or the retweet? Or
After
the clarification that, no, we're still charging a lot of money for that.
somewhere in there. But
Okay.
the theory on the street is that people saw the tweet and basically
Wall Street or your street?
my street.
Okay.
So not that expert. So the word on my physical street in Lombard, maybe not the best to take financial advice from, not
All right.
financial advice. We're on a street somewhere, presumably, is
Okay.
that basically people saw it and then they're like, oh, that's cool. And then they're like, oh, wait, it's not. Wait, how much is insulin? And then they looked and they're like, oh, this is predatory and these guys are jerks. Let's not give them our money. And they lost 11% is millions and millions, like hundreds of millions of
Right.
dollars.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And the two other top 3 insulin manufacturers also, like, their stock prices plummeted. And another Twitter account was set up to impersonate Lockheed Martin. And did you
We're
hear
giving
about
away
this one?
fighter jets. No, I didn't hear about this one.
The Lockheed Martin one was phenomenal. I gotta look it up so I don't misquote it. Lockheed Martin tweet false. Let's do that. The tweet said from Lockheed Martin, of course it's not, it's deleted, but it essentially said, here we go. Lockheed Martin loses billions in stock value amid fake Twitter account and tweets. This is behind a paywall. Okay. All right, fine. Well, it's funny. Twitter's a free platform. No one can find it. It doesn't matter. It basically said, we are no longer going to, we at Lockheed Martin are no longer going to sell any like military equipment to, what was it? It was like the United States, Iran, a couple other places until we have determined that they are like morally on the up and up or something like that. But it was very funny. Whatever it was, it basically said we're not gonna sell to these like evil countries. We're one of them, and they totally just like they lost billions of dollars. I cannot find the actual tweet, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. But it was great. So like I hate these companies, right? I think they're evil. Here we go. Here's the tweet. We will
Okay.
begin halting sales to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States until further investigation into the record of human rights abuses.
Oh, God.
Which is amazing. Hashtag we are LM. So good.
We are LM.
Yeah, so good. So I hate all these companies, and it's hilarious. They lost billions of dollars from the
Billions
Twitter
and
thing.
billions.
Billions. And like my mom had just texted me an article about how the price of insulin is BS and how like some companies are working on it. And I'm like, well, let me show you something here. So I just, man, Twitter has been a paradise. Just imagine if like all moderation on Facebook collapsed and you have people impersonating brands. Like I don't even know the analog. It's just like crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch it, start to implode and wonder if this was it can't be his plan all along. He didn't spend all that money to buy something to destroy it. Did he? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't either. But so, well, we're still there. We're still verified. I didn't pay $8. I'm gonna wait and see. Wasn't gonna jump in and go, here's my, because Debbie goes, this is how she knew this much about it. She goes, you're not paying $8 a month for that Twitter check, are you? I was like, probably not. Good. Like, so there you go. She knew enough. She knew enough that it was going to cost us what, $96 a year.
Amazing.
Yep. So that was done. We didn't have any more conversation about that. So there's our 5-minute, 20-minute check-in.
It only took 16 minutes, 15 if you count my awkward intro at the start.
That's all right. So now we go. This was I was jealous when I heard you won the lottery, but then I realized I wasn't going to be here. But I was still jealous when I saw that you were there because you got to attend for the first time in years. It was back live. What'd you get to do?
I went to prop day. Here's my prop for prop day.
There we
Nice
go.
transition, Brian.
Thank you. I forgot your name. What's your name?
Big box.
Oh, you got they gave the big box again. The big prop day box.
It's a big prop day box. It's for
prop day for those who don't know. Explain what prop day is for the uninitiated.
Oh, right.
Because we know because we're beer insiders, Cody. Let's be honest.
Everyone has been listening to our show for a long time, so they all know. But quick recap: Goose Island, a local Chicago brewery, releases their Bourbon County brand stout every year. I'm actually drinking right now. I'm drinking a 2021 Bourbon County stout.
Are you really? You're getting into the mood. You're getting into the spirit.
Yeah. Spirit. Just poured myself one before the show. It's a really thick, malty, milkshakey kind of just really good, like 15% ABV, like heavy stout. They have several variants every year. It's a big deal. You got to wait in lines, enter lotteries to get packages on Black Friday when they release it. But a couple weeks in advance, they have a special event at Fulton Market at their Goose Island location where you can go to what's called Prop Day. It's a street festival, just a couple blocks, and you pick up an allocation of beers. I got 4. I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
And you also get to try. They have on tap all of the variants that you can then also try. Now, it's mostly outdoors, so it's a little chilly, but not too bad. Not too bad on Saturday.
Okay.
And you do have to enter a lottery to win. And this year they did it different. There was a morning session and an afternoon session.
Okay.
So you could do 10 to 2 or 3 to 7. Now, I actually got the first session, but a friend was doing the second. But because he registered through this Osner app, this like beer ordering app, you can actually transfer the tickets. So I found a woman on Facebook and I swapped tickets with her.
Really?
Yeah. So this was actually this is sexism at its best.
Nice.
Sexism.
You said you're an old lady. You don't know how to drink Bourbon County stout.
No. I jumped on Reddit and I jumped on Facebook and I'm like, who wants to trade tickets with me? And a few people replied. But then this woman replies on the thread in Facebook and she's like, oh, I'd like to. And she looked like she was a woman in her, like, I don't know, 40s or 50s. And I just immediately was like, you're not the demographic of people that are online just to scam people.
You hope, unless you were being catfished.
I mean, it was right, but I was being sexist AF. I literally was like, oh, you're an adult woman. You're probably not a liar compared to a man. And then she
Well,
was like,
sure, but again, it could have been a a lying, deceitful man with a picture of his granny.
yeah, she had a whole
The
profile
whole
thing. She
thing.
sent me a couple selfies with her and her husband were drinking at the time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was great. And she's like, well, how do you want to do this? I literally said, I was like, well, I'm a man and men are way less trustworthy than women. So I'll just send you mine first and hope that you like send me yours.
Oh,
But
wow.
we send each other screenshots of our Osner app to know that we had the
Because these
tickets.
cost money. For when you say you won a lottery, you won the chance to buy these tickets. This was not a free event.
No, $200.
Yeah.
So yeah, not super cheap. But she did send me the proof and a couple selfies and stuff. I saw her profile was legit, and I was like, all right. But I just thought that was a funny little anecdote. Just like,
Yeah, you're very trusting. Maybe you just maybe you got a thing for older women.
guys suck. It's because guys suck.
Guys do suck.
So anyway,
As a guy,
I
know
want.
it.
I'll tell you what I got here. It comes with 2 bottles of Proprietors.
Ooh, proprietors is I always love proprietors because it's just for the Chicago market.
Yeah, it's good. 1 bottle of each of 30th Anniversary Reserve
Ooh,
and
nice.
2-year Barley Wine Reserve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Sweet. Plus you got unlimited samples, correct?
well, you get 6 tokens. Well, actually, sorry, so here's the
that's
story.
right.
Here's what I want to tell for the story for Prop Day.
All right.
So you get 6 tokens. You get to sample each one. There's a, and I don't have all the variant stuff in front of me, but that's okay because actually next week we're going to do a deep dive.
Let's tease it. Here's the tease for next week. Next week is our annual, very special Bourbon County Stout episode of Realities May Vary. We are going to be joined by the 2 brewers who this year created the Proprietors Blend. They will join us. We'll talk. We're going to sample a few. We're going to give you a chance to ask questions, and we will talk to the brewers themselves. That's next week's episode of Realities May Vary. We look forward to it all year. Really, that's the only reason we do this is so that once a year we can do talk to Goose Island. That's not true, but people wouldn't be surprised if it was. And it's kind of true. Kind of true a little bit. But yeah, so that's next week. We're going to talk about all the different variants, and we're going to zoom in on 3 particular ones that we're going to be sampling, one of which is the Proprietors Blend.
Is this 3 we're doing?
I think it's 3.
Okay. I don't remember. So I will not do a full review of any of them, but what I will say briefly is that the 6, there's like a coffee variant, there's a like a kind of Fig Newton-y kind of one, there's the Reserve, there's the Barley Wine, there's the Proprietors, and then there's one more I can't remember. So we get the tokens to try them all, and I'll have a better sense of the actual tasting next week since
Right.
Saturday after 2 I was hammered. So you go and they've got these 6 things. They also had you could get a shot of Heaven Hill whiskey.
Really nice.
They had Heaven Hill on site. No tokens for that. That was free. And one other, I think it was there was another liquor there. I want to say Jim Beam, but I might be misquoting. So who knows? But there were a couple things you get shots. They sold cigars at a place, and then there was this endlessly long line for some kind of it was like the mystery machine, and you would pay $10 cash and put a giant token into a slot, and you would get one of 8 different bottles of beer.
Oh, okay.
To bring home with you. Now, I did not. So we got in line. The line was endless. I was like, we're not going to get any beer if we wait in this line. So we went near the end. Well, the end, they ran out of beer to sell 4 people ahead of us.
Oh,
it's a bad timing, which I would feel bad about, but not for a couple of reasons. Number one of the variants was Kentucky Fog.
Okay. That's the T one from last year, correct?
Correct. It's like the only BCS I don't like. Ever.
Right. Okay. All right.
So
that if you had rolled the dice, you might have gotten one of those.
I would have gotten one of those. It would have been like,
just know for sure that would have been the one.
Oh yeah, here's 7 delicious beers you would have loved, and then Kentucky Fog, which my wife loves, by the way. She would have drank it, but it's literally the only. So I was like, nah. So I didn't feel that bad. But the other thing is, Brian, they also had a mystery pour line that cost no tokens.
Okay.
So instead of waiting for like an hour to spend $10 on a bottle to bring home, I instead went to the mystery line 5 times. I had so much bourbon. I'm pretty sure the first time I went through it was the Mon Cherie.
Okay.
Very distinct flavor.
Yeah. Oh, they
Um,
didn't even tell you when you got it what it was.
no, they were behind a wall with a bunch of barrels set up, and they
Uh,
literally you just walk up and they just hand it to you through a slot. It was amazing. Oh my god. I would
what is this?
next
None of your business. Drink it. All
and the
right.
line was never long. It was only ever like 5, 6 minutes to get through it. So we literally, my buddy and I, we just like went through, stood there, talked and drank for a little bit, went back in line.
Oh,
We got to the point where we were
hilarious.
just drinking the one that they had given us while we're waiting in line to go back again. Dude,
You had to be, because I know how hammered you were at Fobab. I can only imagine how hammered you were at the end of prop day.
I was destroyed. I was destroyed. I went to the Billy Goat right after that because there's one like a 10-minute walk.
I saw a picture of you at the Billy Goat with our old
Quad-
friend Trevor Blanchard.
Yeah, went to the Billy Goat with my buddy, and Trevor Blanchard, our pro wrestling friend, just
Yeah.
walks over and he's like, "Hey, Cody," he looks great.
Yeah, he looked terrific in the picture. He doesn't age. He looks exactly the same as the first time we met him.
Nobody looks like kind of like cut more. Like he
He's
just looks really
jacked.
in shape, jacked, just like happy, good
Nice.
place. It was good. But
Did you see anybody else we know while you were wandering about? Not that you would have recognized anybody in your altered state.
right. No, so somebody from college recognized me.
Wow.
I went to Drake with. Yeah.
Nice.
So we chatted a bit, but no, nobody else, no radio friends, no brewer friends that at least recognized me right away. They could have been at the morning session, but I will say, if they do that mystery booth again next year, that makes prop day even more worth it.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah, that
good
sounds insane. Now, I know you don't want to go into deep dives, but did you have a favorite of
Yes.
this year's? All right. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah,
Will you tell us about it?
I will. I've got one of them.
Please do. I would love to hear about it.
One of the bottles I have is one of them.
Is it the 30th?
No.
Ooh, is it the prop?
Although that is very delicious. No.
The barley wine, the double barrel barley wine?
Dude,
I love barley wines.
this barley wine is insane.
Really? All right.
I don't want to talk it up too much, but I just because what do we start? I think I started with the coffee one.
How was that? Because you're a coffee guy. You love the coffee beers for the most part.
There's not as coffee like as the previous beers.
Okay.
I will say. So because before it like you literally it's like you take a sip, you're like, oh, I just had a sip of coffee. It's crazy. This one much more muted. It was more of a coffee aftertaste.
Okay.
So I did that I think first, and then I went to the barley wine, and I was just like, that barley wine, man, dude, I could use still 6 tokens on that.
Really? Wow.
Oh, and again, I was cold. I was half
Sure.
drunk probably at that point. So I need to sit down and see how I enjoy it when I'm just, pouring it for me. But
Right.
man,
Well, you don't have to drink it all yourself. You could pour it for a couple people.
Could do that. But I will say the other thing is though, I'm looking forward to trying the proprietors next week because
Yes.
like they always do, Brian. It's just one of those beers where like you drink it and you just sit there for a second and you're just like, how am I tasting these flavors?
Yeah, the proprietors. I've always said this, and I'm sure I'll say it again next week. The original blend always is good. That's all. That's a solid. The proprietors are always phenomenal because the creativity that goes into them, the flavor profiles, everything is just top tier. And I think the exclusivity adds another flavor layer to the profile where you go, yeah, everybody can't get this. So you feel a little more special when you're drinking it. Anybody who's able to get a bottle enjoys it. But the proprietor's blend is always phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now tell us, well, we'll talk. I don't want to talk any more about specifics because we'll talk about it next week, but I'm interested in that 30th anniversary blend and all of them. So we'll, again, next week, you don't want to miss if you like hearing us talk about beer, and watching us drink beer and hearing us drink beer and learning about beer. Next week, our very special Bourbon County Stout episode with two of the brewers, the two brewers that came up with that. I am now feeling what you felt the last 2 years, where I would send you pictures of me with my prop day boxes when it was just the drive-through pickups. And yeah, so that's wow, the old Fitzgerald. Nice.
That's the barley wine right there.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I have in-laws.
They kept the same packaging, which I like. It's easy to carry. It's easy to maneuver around. Now, do you have to get that? Did you have to carry that around the whole day? Your whole 5 hours that you were there?
No, you had to get it up in the first 3.5 out of 4 hours of the event. So basically, you could get it on the way out. So we grabbed them right on the way out. It's perfect.
Oh, nice. Good thinking.
No,
Good thinking.
It's a well set up event. It's well done. Props to everybody at Goose for an amazing event. I can't wait to talk to the brewers next week. You're in for a treat, Brian. It's another.
I can't wait.
Just another. Because last
another
year I went
banner year. Would you say banner year? Don't give away too much.
No, I won't. Man, that barley wine, I swear. And it's the second one. So the memory faded quickly as I drank 10 more pours.
As you stood in the mystery line and drank whatever the hell they poured for you.
Dude, that mystery line was the greatest thing. We closed it down. Line. We were I think we were the last people that left. They literally were cleaning up. Yes.
Wow. All right.
Because they closed it at 7. I think literally my friend and I were the two last people to leave. Or if not, we were the top 5 probably at the very end.
Oh my God.
We just kept hitting that mystery line. It was amazing.
Nothing wrong with that. Good for you.
Billy Goat Burger really hit the spot. I'm gonna tell you that.
I haven't been to that Billy Goat. That's the one. That's the one on Madison, right near the United Center.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I've never been. I've been in the original. Well, I saw it and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I was like, what was Cody doing down on Lower Wacker after Prop Day? Just wandering the city looking for burgers,
dude.
Burgers and wrestling guys.
So good.
Now, did your lovely bride have to pick you up from this event too?
No, my friend. He must have not had as much as me, and he had a lot of food, and he has a higher tolerance. But he ended up driving me.
He drove you home, is what you're saying.
He seemed fine. He was a lot more sober than me. I will tell you that for sure.
That doesn't surprise me based on our FOBAB experience.
I think he might have sobered up a little with Trevor because Trevor and I went into a wrestling talk vortex. He's not a wrestling fan, so I think his eyes glazed over and he might have gotten a little nap in there.
But yeah, he took his nap.
Yeah.
He got his sober up nap.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So that was what else? Is that it about Prop Day? That's a good story.
That's it. Yeah, just wanted to say, got good beers. Try to go next year if you can. The lottery, it was worth it. And that mystery line, man. Yeah.
I only went to the in-person one once, and it was great. The last 2 years with the remotes, I got those. And again, like you said about this one being very well organized, the drive-through ones were unbelievably simple.
Yeah.
So everything is class act down there. So again, next week's today, the very special Bourbon County Stout episode of Realities May Vary.
And
yes,
not for nothing, not to give all the love to Goose. This weekend, I am picking up the next series of Revolution Deepwood releases.
Yes. What do you know what they are?
I don't remember. I think Straight Jacket's one of them.
Okay.
So
I was going to say you could tell us next week, but that would be bad form. Listen, Goose guys, hang on. We want to talk a little bit about Revolution, if you don't mind.
I can tell you in a couple weeks, or I can tell you right now because it's literally in my inbox. Because they emailed me. It's Straight Jacket. I called it Ryway to Heaven and Very Special Old Dark Mode VSOD.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are lucky that this city has great breweries.
Dude. Tell me about it. A
long time ago in Chicago, we started having breweries. Now we have a lot of them. Most of them are good. Some of them, whatever.
Like Improv.
Yeah, no, improv is all bad.
Okay.
I'm not going. You can't. You can fight me if you're an improv. And I listen. I did improv. I went through Second City. Improv is bad. Everybody thinks they can improv. No, you can't improv. Give me a place. Gynecologist office. All right. What are you doing? Fisting. Shut up. That's that's improv. Freeze. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I got a pancake up my ass. Okay, everybody improv. It's terrific. Terrific. That's
Yes, but what you're shoot.
You were supposed to yes and me, Cody, not yes
There's-
but me.
You're right. There's no good improv here.
There's no good improv. No
Oh, wait.
good improv. Unless it's us just going off on a tangent.
Oh, hold on. I got a pancake in my butt.
Yes. And did it have dingleberry jam on it?
Had tinkle poo poo jam. See, I'd be great. My kid would love it though.
I don't know. I think your kid has a much more sophisticated sense of humor.
Hmm.
Oh, he's coming back to visit us, isn't he? We
Sunday?
forgot about it. Sunday. Yeah. Isn't he coming Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said to Debbie, oh, he's coming Sunday. She's like, what? What? Really? I said, yeah, remember we agreed to this a long time ago. Oh, yeah. So that'll be fun. Because last time he was here, he forgot a few things. I think it's like, I think he's pulling the old, the old girlfriend move where you leave a couple things at the house and go, oh, I got to come back because I forgot a couple things. So he's trying to get back in, which is fine. He's welcome. Always welcome. So we'll be doing that. All right. While you were prop daying everything, Cody Jr. tolerates all my shenanigans. He's nothing but the kid's 100% shenanigan.
Mm-hmm.
That may be his middle name. I'm not even going to tell you his first name, but his middle name may in fact be Shenanigan.
Actually, I'll finally say it. His first name is Shenanigan.
That's his first name?
Yeah, that's his first name.
That's why wow. No wonder he doesn't answer me. I've been calling him Biff. I thought it was Biff Shenanigan.
Yeah. No, his middle name is Pancake.
Shenanigan Pancake. Hello, my name's Shenanigan Pancake. I got to pass my favorite exit alias. I have a penchant for looking at exits that have two names of towns and using them as my aliases. My favorite. I used to do this all the time. I would do it at hotels. I would do it with if I was trying to avoid a girl, I would tell my roommate, the only people if somebody calls and asks for this name, give me the phone. If not, I'm not here. So it's always been a running joke. And now Molly has adopted it too. And she will call me if she's on the road and passes an exit that might be a name. My favorite one has always been Gilman Chatsworth. It's on 57 South. And so I always use the alias Gilman Chatsworth, followed closely by Buckley Roberts and Cooter Holland. Cooter Holland I use when I'm down in NASCAR country. Those are all legit exits off interstates. And I'm always looking for named exits. So this weekend, we went down to Carbondale. Nice segue. And I passed Gilman Chatsworth twice. And Molly, even when she got down, she was like, you saw Gilman Chatsworth? I was like, you bet your ass I did. So that's if you're ever somewhere and you hear Gilman Chatsworth, table for 3. That'll be me. Or Cooter Holland down smuggling smokes through the Carolinas. That's me too. Man was arrested today. Elderly white man Cooter Holland. Sounds like I should be at a MAGA rally when I'm Cooter Holland. So yeah, there's always great names. So backstory real quick, Molly had said in October, it would have been nice. The one thing I missed about college was going to big fall football games. She goes, I don't even really care about football, but just the whole atmosphere. And then one thing led to another. And she was like, well, Southern has their last home game November 12th. Now I went to school there and the weather was always very pleasant all the way up through Christmas. So we decided we're going to go. We get the tickets. We booked a room for Saturday night. Very exciting. I haven't been back since the eclipse. when we slept out in the field and the deer came up and bothered us. It was a whole big thing. It was beautiful. We leave because instead, the smart thing to do would have been to book a hotel room Friday night and plan on coming home Saturday, or book the hotel for 2 nights and make a little weekend out of it. Not us. We decided we were going to go down Saturday morning and then stay over and come home Sunday. Okay. But one of the things I wanted to do was go to Mary Lou's Diner, which is, well, it's a diner, and they have great biscuits and gravy, and it's the place, if you're in Carbondale, to go for breakfast. So I wanted to get down there for breakfast, which meant we left our house at 4:20. We were not high, but we did leave at 4:20 a.m.
Blaze it.
Yeah, wake and bake, baby. Hop in the mystery machine, do a couple tokes, and hit the road. Put on the Grateful Dead, smoking,
smoke weed every day.
We were smoking the weed
in there. Get some
so
Snoop
we
in there.
leave. We're going down, and it's beautiful. Now, it's cold, but I had been watching the weather, and it was supposed to be like 45 and sunny. And I'm like, that's okay. Even though the day before, just like here, the day before in Carbondale on Friday, it was 80. I would have much rather gone to a football game when it was 80. But no. So we start driving down, and everything's fine. And because now Molly had decided she was going to come home that night. So she and Debbie are in Molly's car, and I'm by myself. And I'm flying. And I get in the car, and it tells me how much by the time I got to Champaign, I had shaved 15 minutes off my arrival time based on Waze, because I was zipping along. It was dark. Everything was great. We get to Champaign, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little low on gasoline. I forgot that there's not much between Champaign and Effingham. So I'm starting to panic. I did what I've never done before. I didn't even realize I could do it. I hit the gas logo on Waze, and it shows you what gas stations are close. And all of a sudden, there's like, 6 miles away, there's a town, Noonan, Tuscola. Not a good exit name. Can't use that as an alias. But Tuscola, Noonan, I guess, depends on where you're at. So just as I'm about to get to Tuscola, Noonan, literally about a quarter mile away from the exit, there's a jackknife semi in the ditch. And as I go up to the exit, I start to fishtail a little. And I'm like, what? So I get off, and there's like 5 gas stations there. The big Pilot trucks, the difference in gas prices from the Pilot truck stop, or the Love's truck stop, and the Road Ranger, which I call the Rump Ranger, little travel plaza, was like 4 cents difference. Where do you think I went for the gas?
The cheap one.
Of course. Where did Debbie go for the gas?
No.
Yep. So
Why?
I pull it because she about like Love's truck stops better than the Road Ranger. They were literally right next door to each other. And so I whip in, and I'm out, and I'm like, where the hell I know they were behind me. Where are they getting gas? And I'm like, they went to the other truck stop because, money's burning a hole in their pocket. They got 4 cents a gallon extra to throw around so they could go into the Love's truck stop plaza instead of just the Rump Ranger over here where I'm gonna go.
That's un-American.
It is. What happens next is downright despicable.
You'll never believe what happens next.
No, I get on the thank God I got gas, because, well, 1, I would have run out of gas, but 2, from Noonan all the way down past Effingham, it was like I was driving in the frozen tundra. There was ice, there was snow, you could only drive in the right lane because the left lane was too frozen over. It was insane. I hit that first overpass, and I fishtailed a little, and I'm like, what? And as I came over the hill, all of a sudden it was like the road went from perfect to completely snow and slush covered. And I'm like, wow. So now I'm driving slow, and I know they're behind me. I come up over a hill, and I see these 2 semis brake lights, like come on fast. I'm like, oh man. And I slow down. There had been an accident about a quarter mile in front of us. The entire interstate was shut down. I sat in one spot for 45 minutes waiting to get there. I see the ambulances go by. I see the fire engines go by. The tow truck goes by, state police. 45 minutes later, we start to move. A car had been completely smashed by a semi. And I had never seen a semi with a lot of damage on it. It was bad. But thank God I got to Effingham, got through. Then the roads cleared up. It was fine. Zoom. So now I'm flying to make up time. I gotta make up some time, Cody. Get there. Debbie and Molly show up about 10 minutes after I did. And we go to Mary Lou's, have a great breakfast. Oh, man, it's this little diner. Everything was terrific. The day's going well, except for the fact that it is now 32 degrees, cloudy, and kind of misty, sleety, funky. We were dressed okay, warmth-wise, but not sit out at a football game. They also had not. We walk into the stadium finally, and there's water dripping down, and I'm like, what the hell's going on in here? Well, it's because the aluminum bleachers had been covered with ice and snow, and it was dripping and dropping down. The stairs, the aluminum stairs going up into the seats were completely ice covered. I was terrified.
You sure it's not because they installed Forest Cafe in the upper deck?
No, I didn't see the big green tree frog. There was not an overpriced burger anywhere. It was just that. We get up to our seats, and the benches are completely covered with ice. And I'm like, oh, I only had brought one pair of pants. And I'm thinking, I can't sit in wet in this temperature. I'm going to freeze. I can't sit in wet. So Molly runs down because we had seen it as we walked past like the souvenir place. They had little seat cushions. So we send Molly down because I'm terrified that I'm going to take a tumble. It was, oh man.
Molly your boot? Were you in your boot?
I did not wear the boot into the stadium. There was no way. I would have been dead. I would have been dead.
Did you? Is that okay? Were you allowed to not wear them?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It was fine. We were surrounded by fans from North Dakota State University, whose mascot is the Bisons. They all walked in with these Grand Poobah Bison helmets on. I thought I was in an episode of the Flintstones. And they came dressed because they're from North Dakota, where this was basically their summer vacation. And they all have the Bison hats on. They're all dressed in their Carhartts. They're doing, and then like 3 of them are leading cheers, North Dakota State cheers about the Bisons and their first downs. About midway into the second quarter, I turned to Debbie and Molly and I was like, we're leaving at half. And Debbie was like, yes, she literally screamed at the top of her lungs. Yes. It was so bone-chillingly cold. And the Salukis were losing, but it was wonderful to be there. It was fun. But at halftime, so halftime comes and we're going to leave. Imagine me in my, with my paranoia about falling, walking down the stands and then down, which are ice covered, the steps, and then down the other steps that are ice covered. So I'm trying to there's 5 steps from the seats down to the concourse. And I'm holding on to both banisters and I'm walking kind of sideways. And some ass behind me is like, I think I can. I'm like,
are you serious?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm not falling. Well, Debbie said, yeah, he shouldn't have been saying anything because every guy who was behind you coming down the steps was walking exactly like you were, holding on to both banisters because it was sheets of ice. It was crazy.
Are you sure it was directed at you or?
I mean, we exchanged a couple comments, a lot good-natured comments. Like I'm like, hey man, I said, I'm not going to fall. It's going to be a horrible thing if I go down. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. So yeah, it was aimed at me, but it may not have been as malicious. He may have just been saying that we were all in the same boat. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because one, he was an idiot, and two, he was wearing a big buffalo head. So I'll let him go. He's got to live with his own misery. He's got to go back to North Dakota. So, I came back here. He's going to North Dakota.
Oh God, no. Okay, I was thinking Nebraska in my head because the ends,
No.
but no,
North Dakota
that's a
State.
way worse place to go.
Yeah, he's got to go back there.
Was he a heavyset individual?
Yeah, he was. Well, it's hard for me to judge. I'm not wafer thin, but yeah, he was a big dude.
Okay.
There were a lot of guys who looked. Molly's like, they're giving me a very January 6th vibe. The shaman. They all looked like the shaman. They had big beards. They had the buffalo heads on. The only thing missing was the spear. But they all were hardy folk.
Well, and yet they were too stupid to thaw out their seats with tiki torches.
Yeah, they did not. One of them had brought a roll of paper towel, which I don't know if you know this, but paper towel doesn't really get rid of ice.
Well, was it Bounty?
Well, it didn't quickly pick up anything, but so it might have been. It might have just been brawn. I would imagine more brawny for those people, with the lumberjack on the package. That seems more their thing. At one point, a guy was screaming, and I'm like, I lean over to Molly. I go, I'm just going to tell this Tatanka to shut the hell up. Tatanka. Thank you. Little Dances with the Wolves reference out of there. But then, we go and we went to one of the best barbecue places in the country, bar none, 17th Street Barbecue 17th Street Bar and Grill in Murfreesboro. Mike Mills was known as the legend. He passed away last year. His daughter, Amy, we've had Amy on the show a couple times to talk about their cookbooks, and it's the best. So we had dinner, and then Molly was going to drive home. So we drive back to Carbondale, drop her off in her car, and then we drive back to Murfreesboro because I wanted to go to a Big Muddy Brewery. Because I can't go somewhere without stopping at a brewery. But, the weird thing is, yes, you can see this, Cody. I am drinking Big Muddy root beer. I did not drink root beer at the brewery. We found a very lovely bartender was there. She was very, very nice. We had a couple flights. They do good stuff there. I had been exposed to them up here because of their Saluki Dunkel Dog Red Ale, which is really, really good. They also do an exclusive beer for the 17th Street Bar and Grill that has a smoked. It's a brown ale, and it's got a smoke flavor to it to go along with the barbecue. And it is bang. It's an amber ale, I should say. And it's really, really good. So, all right, we're in my college town. We're at my alma mater. Debbie and I we're unencumbered by children. By children, I mean our grown daughter. We're out on the town. Boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom. What time do you think we got back to the hotel?
11:15
p.m.
Yep.
You are way off.
1:15 a.m.
7 o'clock p.m. We were back at the hotel. Yeah, we know how to swing, baby.
Okay.
We had gone, well, it was really dark in our defense. We thought it was much later. We had gone to dinner right after the game. And since we left at halftime, we got to the restaurant at like 4:15. Had dinner, got back, dropped Molly off, and then went back to the brewery. And we each had a flight. And then I had a Dunkel Dog by itself. And Debbie's like, oh man, what time is it? It's got to be around 8 o'clock. And I go, it's not even 6. So, but we had been up since, Debbie had gotten up at 2:30. I had got up at 3:30. It was, it was a little, it'd been a long day. Your microphone went out. You have turned
I just turned it off. And in her defense, it was probably pitch black 2
2
hours before you even went to dinner. honestly. It's
It
so
was.
dark.
It was pitch black. So we're sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden, it was like we were balloons, and somebody had just pricked us with a pin. In the air, we both just started deflating. We were like, and I was like, but we're here. Oh yeah, we should go home because we had decided to go to the brewery rather than go and try to drink it with the co-eds. There's only a couple bars left on the strip, and it would have been weird.
Wouldn't have stopped me.
Well, no, but you're a little younger than me. You're a lot younger than me.
Barely.
Plus, I was with Debbie. As I told her, I don't want her blocking me when I'm being a zaddy for the co-eds.
A zaddy?
You heard it. I jokingly said that, and Molly was like, "Don't ever say that again. I can't. No, don't ever say that again."
What does that mean?
It's like a sexy daddy.
I've never heard of that.
Check it out. It is.
Now I aspire to be that.
You want to be a zaddy? You probably could be. I don't know if you're old enough to be a zaddy yet, though. Mike says he froze his butt at the Illinois game. Then went to Marianne's for a haystack. Very nice. Oh, you peed in Gilman. Oh, Gilman Chatsworth. He's great. Roger went down 15 years ago. It's a long time, Roger. Chicago warm weather temperatures dropped dramatically. See, for me, it was the opposite. When I first visited Carbondale, when I was a senior in high school, we left Chicago in a blizzard. We got down to Carbondale, it was 70. I was like, this is where I'm going. It was phenomenal. But this time everything went backwards. Backwards. So we had decided we were by 8 o'clock, Debbie was snoring. And by 9:30, I was asleep. So that's how we party when we go back to my alma mater.
I mean, we're in that stage of pregnancy right now. Like, my wife and I are not partying past 9. Really, it's she's very pregnant. I mean, she's due in a month month from tomorrow. So,
ooh, very exciting.
Yeah. So she's
to be honest, had we gone on Friday night, I would have slept on Friday. We would have slept later on Saturday morning. I would have been revved up. I'd have been ready to go. Because when I do cut loose, I still have it in me to be the last man standing.
Yeah.
I still have the stamina, the wherewithal, and the stick-to-itiveness to go the distance. But when I'd already been up, 14 hours, and, where am I going to wander off to a bar alone, drop Debbie at the hotel, and then hit the town?
Right.
I'm like, no. We got back to the hotel. I had a bottle of root beer because we bought 2 4-packs of their root beer because I was like, I love root beer. Molly likes root beer. I was like, I'm going to get a couple of these root beers. So, oh man, I'm back at the hotel. I'm wild. We had stopped at the Circle K. Debbie was like, I got to stop at the Circle K. She had to get some water and some Fritos. So,
were strange things afoot?
Always strange things, Theodore. They are always strange. Every time I see a Circle K, I know that strange things are afoot.
Right.
And so we went into the Circle K. And so I'm back at the hotel. Debbie's snoring. I'm drinking a root beer, watching some bad sci-fi movie on HBO, and then zonk, I'm out.
Man, I can relate to that whole last man standing thing because that's my MO. Like, if we are at a party, I want to stay. Period. Unless the party is over, I want to stay. And my wife's not that way, and that's fine. But I would never leave parties until they shut down.
I've done that before, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm that guy. I'm the guy who didn't leave.
No, dude, my friend's bachelor party, not the one I hosted, but the one in Madison. Yeah, I was like, I was awake at like 3 a.m. with 2 other people. And 3 other people. Really? And then we were just like, why are we still awake? And I'm just like, I don't know, because I don't stop partying because I can hang. That's just my deal.
All right. Well, I feel a gauntlet being thrown down.
My deal. You would do it too. You and I should go to a party sometime.
We should go. Well, we'll go to. We have a Christmas party coming up, December 10th.
Well, the Christmas party.
You might not be able to go.
It's like 2 days before my wife's due date, so we'll see. But My plans to go and probably drink moderately because I don't want to have to show up to
Yeah,
the
because you have to
hospital
drive. Yeah, that's true.
wasted. I don't think she's gonna go.
Roger said his dog is listening. We're big with dogs. We're big
We're
with
huge
rescue
in the
dogs.
dog demo, the
Yeah.
18 to 15 month demo, particularly.
Carol's glad she didn't go to DuQuoin this weekend, which is just north of Carbondale. That's where they have the beautiful DuQuoin State Fair. Sunday, when we got up to leave, oh man, the sun was shining. The roads were perfect. It was still about 35, but yeah, but it was still. I got to tell. I don't know how often you go back to Drake. Do you ever go back to visit your alma mater?
I haven't gone since 2014 or 15.
Oh, for the relays, right? Is that the last time
Wait,
you
no,
went?
no. I went for the 10 year. So I was there 2017.
Okay. There's something about, like, I don't live in the past. It's not like, oh, I wish I was still in college, but it was really cool to go back and, just see it again and go, oh, this is, I knew this stuff had changed. And then to have Molly with me, and she had been there, she had gone through it, but it was like 12 years ago, the last time we drove through there. And so it was funny, to regale her with some stories. And then, so we're at this diner, and at the corner used to be a big Chinese restaurant. And I said, oh, that used to be a Chinese restaurant. I went there on my 21st birthday. And Molly goes, oh, did somebody take you there? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, your girlfriend? And I said, yes, I had a girlfriend. And she took me out to dinner. And Debbie said something. And Molly's like, hey, you don't have to get mad that Dad had a date in college. And so the whole day I was like, I used to date in college.
Do you stay in touch with a lot of your college friends?
I have like 4 or 5 that I stay in good contact with. Yeah.
That's not bad. Almost all my friends are from growing up high school. I've only got really one friend I keep up with, and it's still even a little bit sporadic from Drake.
I don't like to have friends. They're cumbersome.
Right.
They're needy. So I've tried to be a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was so yeah, I keep up with, we live all over the country. So it's not, we don't get to see each other, but
Sure, but
we talk. Yeah, we're in touch. We know what's going on with each other and stuff
when
like
they
that.
come to town, you could hang out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm trying now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's part of why I don't go to Drake, because like I've got the one friend who lives in Des Moines, fortunately. But
okay.
And actually she was out of town for relays this year. That's why we didn't go.
Oh.
So I was like, hey, we might go to relays. And she's like, well, I'm not gonna be there. And I was like, then there's literally no point. You're the
I'm
only
not gonna
person
be
I'm
there.
still friends with really actively. So
Yeah,
good for you for
I'm
knowing
trying to get us all to go to homecoming one year,
Oh,
just to go, because I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be
Yeah.
fun for us to be back there and do a couple things. Most of the places that we used to go are no longer around, but there's a couple, and now we have money. I took Molly past the student center, and I'd said to her, "Oh, this is where I used to come every Friday and cash a $10 check so I could go out drinking." And she was like, "Cash a check?" I go, "Yeah, that's what we had to do. You'd come to the student center, you'd cash a $10 check. We'd go down to Progressive Happy Hour, started out at 25 cents for a quart, and then it went up to 50 cents the next hour for a quart. So you could get really drunk, then go across the street to Boobies for a submarine sandwich and still have $1 left over for the bagel man when the night was over." That was my big night.
That's amazing. Something just fell off of
I was looking, something got you.
something fell. I saw a mouse in my garage on the way up to the podcast.
Oh no.
Is that
Cold
bad?
weather? No, it's just they're coming in. So if you see one, you're going to see more. As long as they don't get in the house. But there's a good chance if they're in the garage, they can get in the house. Might have to set some traps.
Yeah. Yeah, I went out to get my Bourbon County Stout, and I was standing in front of the fridge. I'm like, oh, I don't want to drink. And then I hear this, like, look over. There's a mouse. See it run under my workbench. I was like,
just a little tiny one?
Yeah.
Or a big rat-sized one?
A little tiny one.
They're coming in because it's cold.
I know. I wasn't super worried. Like I had my slippers on, but I wasn't gonna mess with it unless I had shoes on, shoes and socks. I feel like my feet got to be armored. I'm gonna mess.
Oh, you have to. You don't want to. I would never want a rodent running across my feet.
Yeah. So But I texted
No.
my wife immediately and I said, hey, look, there is a mouse in our garage. So when you pull in the car, don't freak out
Run.
if you see a
Run
mouse.
for your life. Well, I think the mouse will run from the car. The mouse is going to hide. It's not going to come out for a car unless it's one badass mouse. Unless
Well, I
it's
heard
Mighty
it.
Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
I heard it. I look over, it's 10 feet away, and it was like, mouse, what are you doing? And it just kind of sat there because I thought they were real skittish, right? So I'm just like, what are you doing? So I started yelling at it, and it just kind of stood there. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to get a beer. And I
Because it
opened
couldn't
the
believe a
fridge.
human was yelling at it. It's like, what? What the hell is going? What? Are you yelling at me? I'm a mouse, dude.
Time to get out my 22 and take care of that vermin. I do have
Yeah.
a salt gun I could use.
Oh, I want to see
That's
you,
not a-
Elmer Fudd. I want to see you go out in that garage. Shh, be
I just have a
very,
combat
very
knife.
quiet.
Look at that.
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know. Kill it.
Shawshank? Good Lord.
Got
What
this for
kind
a
of knife
Secret
is that?
Santa.
Secret Santa?
I don't
In
know. I
jail?
probably need a license for that, and I don't have it, so I'm under arrest.
Well, how, first of all, you're not going to catch a mouse and kill it with that knife.
You're
Is
not.
that a throwing knife?
Yeah, I can learn to throw it. How do you do this?
Well, how long are you going to invest to learn how to throw a knife to kill a mouse?
1482 Taiwan.
Oh, Gina's saying you should get an exterminator.
Does this
Nah,
say
go out
FBI
yourself.
on it? Oh, that's pretty
FBI? Pull that knife out again. Let me see that knife.
interesting. What is this?
That's not. Oh man, that's a killing knife right there.
Combat knife.
Yeah, it is.
My friend was in the Marines. It was a Secret Santa.
You're gonna hold it backward. You go take somebody's throat out, but you can't get a mouse with that knife.
You can't get a mouse with that knife. Watch me get a mouse with that knife.
All right. Yes, I want to see you. I want to see you hold up the mouse that you have grabbed and then slit its throat.
I'm not gonna slit its throat. That'd be grotesque. I'll stab it in the heart.
All right, that's less grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
The size of that blade, if you try to stab it in the heart, you're going right. You're gutting it like a hog.
It's only how long is this blade? This is it's like
That's bigger than a mouse.
size of my middle.
Yeah, that's bigger than a mouse.
Okay. Well, glad we had this discussion.
I hope the mouse pulls out a knife too. You two get in a knife fight, like West Side Story. When you're a mouse, you're a mouse.
Oh, my wife texted me back and just said ... Yep.
That means she's not coming home. You live in
No,
a rat-infested hovel.
I just heard her come in, but I'm pretty sure she came in the front door, not the garage door. I'm pretty sure she parked in the driveway, and she's just like, "I'm done with this."
If I were you, it's supposed to snow a lot tonight. I would go move that car into the garage.
Yeah, that's real fun because I had a mountain of. Well, no, it's not fun because I had a mountain of leaves in my backyard, and turns out we didn't buy enough bags. So I still have a small mountain of leaves in my backyard. And it turns out they're not in bags. I have 30 bags, 30 or 40 lawn bags.
Wow.
Full. Well, our neighbors have 2 oak trees, and they were out of town for 2 weeks. So all the oak tree leaves came down, and the oak tree leaf is like a piece of cardboard.
Yes, they're very large.
Dude, they're large, they're stiff, they're really hard. Like I got like one of those vacuum
That's
things.
what she said.
I tried to vacuum it. One oak leaf gets in the vacuum and it clogs it up.
Wow.
They're like cardboard, Brian.
Are you using your Hoover? Your
Dude,
Eureka from the house?
No, I was using an outdoor tool.
All right.
That's what she said. How do we get on the mouse thing? You were talking. You were
I don't know.
You
You freaked out. You had to get it off your chest. I've had mice before, and I'm a big proponent of the old school trap. I think they kill quickly. Now we haven't, thank God, haven't had any here. I've had them in garages in my last 2 houses, and the last house we had like a little back porch that had been added on, and they came from underneath. We had some out there where I had to put traps, and I always caught them. It's funny, you never see them; you just see the droppings. You put those old school traps down with a little peanut butter, bam, bam, bam. Those mice gone. I'm hardcore.
Aren't they full of blood and stuff? Isn't that gross? No,
because it doesn't smash them. I mean, it doesn't splatter them. It just breaks their neck and they're pinned. It is kind of, they're dead mice on this piece of board, You got to pick it up and throw it away. The worst mice thing ever. Back years ago, I had put the patio umbrella and stuff away for the winter, right? The next spring, I go to take it off. I open the umbrella. Mice fall right out of the umbrella. I freaked out. They must have crawled up because the umbrella was up on a shelf. And it was in a bag. It was in a shelf.
Oh my God.
I freaked out. So now every year since, every time I open an umbrella in the spring, I'm like, oh, please don't let there be any mice in here. Please don't let there be any mice in here. It only happened the 1 year, but Debbie heard me screaming and came running out. What's going on? There's mice in the umbrella. Terrifying. Well, Roger bragging that his lawns are leaf free. That's because you're retired, Roger. That's all you do. You go in the garden, you play with the dog, and you do your lawn maintenance. After you sit on the porch with your cappuccino. My tightwad uncle used to he reused those mouse traps, Mike. See, I didn't think you could because once the scent of dead mouse is on there, they're not going to come back, no matter how much peanut butter you use.
I'll never forget my dad when I was 6. I must have been 6, 7 at the most. Showed me he started laying mouse traps. We had a golden retriever. He said, hey, now look, you got to not mess with these mouse traps or let the dog near them because here's what happens. And he took a number 2 pencil and he put it on and went boom. And he showed me the indent. He's like, this is what it does to a pencil. This is what it'll do to our dog. So keep him away. I'll never forget that visual. Yeah. This was 30 some years ago. So I'll show my son something like that if we lay any traps. But we had like a couple of humane or whatever. We had a couple of traps. No, we had some of the poison bait things.
Okay.
They're little tiny things. They can get in and they can get this little poison bait and bring it back to their nest.
Right.
And the guy stuck it behind, like somewhere you couldn't get to in my garage. And I turn around one day and my son, he's holding this thing. He's like,
oh
blah, blah, blah.
God.
There's no way he could have gotten into it, but I freaked out. I lost my mind. I'm like, because he was like 1. I'm like, dude, no,
you can't have that. We tried. So I was still living at home. I may have been in college and home on a break, or I might have been in high school. My brother Dennis had a habit of bringing food up to the bedroom.
Oh no.
My dad had, I guess in hindsight, he had passed on his fear of rodents to the rest of us. So one night, Dennis wakes up screaming because there was a mouse dragging a chip bag across the floor of the bedroom. And now he's screaming. Everybody wakes up. We're all up. My dad is like half asleep. He's sitting. He goes and he starts sitting in the living room and he's just laughing like a maniac, like he was like on crack or something. He's like, and I'm like, is he? Maybe he's not really awake. And my mom is screaming and everybody's screaming. So the mouse scurries away. They had been doing some work in the bathroom, so there was a hole a little hole around the pipe behind the toilet. So the mouse, okay, we get those glue traps because that's supposed to be the humane way. Get the glue trap, put it behind the toilet. The next day, I forget who starts screaming, but somebody's screaming that the mouse is caught. My dad won't go up and get it. Nobody will go get it. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. So I go upstairs and there's this mouse and I'll never forget. This is why I use the old school traps because it's over like that. The mice don't know what hit them. The glue trap, this mouse is like, oh, I can't get off. And he's alive, but he's stuck. All 4 paws or feet or talons or whatever mice have are stuck in the glue. And this mouse is pulling for all he's worth. And I'm like, I don't want to touch it because the mouse is alive. Right. And it's freaky. And even though it's only about, 3 inches long, I don't want to get near it in case it breaks free and decides I'm the target of its vengeance. So I go in and I get a ruler and I'm standing, my arm fully extended, and I stick the ruler onto the glue pad and I pick it up like a mouseicle. And I throw it into a garbage bag, tie it up, and I take it out and throw it in the garbage can. So now this mouse really has to suffer because he's stuck on a glue trap with a ruler, and now he's suffocating in the garbage can.
Yeah.
That to me seems much more inhumane than,
Yeah.
hey, look, there's some peanut butter. Pff, I'm gone. You never even know what happened. You're just gone.
They have humane traps that are like a tube, and like they go into it, and then it like closes a gate, and then they're stuck in the tube, and then you just like carry it somewhere and you throw it out. I don't know. I have a friend who's vegan who did that. He's
Yeah.
vegan, Brian.
Okay, it's
So
vegan. It can't hurt a field mouse. Like I don't take any joy in it, except that it does. I will say, catch a couple mice, your wife looks at you a little bit different because now you've protected her from invasive species and
no,
wildlife coming into the home.
she has a little she has a little photo project thing down in the basement. And she on her table, one day she comes upstairs and she's like, there's a dead mouse on my table. And it was not a dead mouse 5. It was literally a dead mouse. It was like I went on and there's just a tiny little dead mouse just sitting on her table. I was like, okay.
What?
I don't know where that came from. Only mouse we saw. Couldn't find droppings anywhere else. We had the exterminator people. We use one of those stupid services that sprays your house to get rid of
Okay.
insects or to put a shield around your house of insects. It's probably garbage, a bunch of crap. That
Well, they
doesn't
don't shield you against mice, I guess.
I know they'll come and do that stuff for free. So they actually did an attic inspection for free too. So they do all these
Okay.
like pro bono. So if I call them tomorrow and I say, can you lay some traps in my garage? They will lay traps in my garage, but they'll just kill them. And then I got to check them and all that stuff, or it'll be bait or whatever. So, but if it's poison, I mean, I'll ask them what they do. Cause if it's a poison thing, they take you back to their nest or whatever, then okay, maybe I'll do that. Cause who knows how many are in there? Like you said, there could be like 10.
Well, a lot of it, they're probably just coming in because of the cold, but there's always more than one.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. Is it the mice?
I think my wife is printing something.
Yeah, how to kill a mouse.
She's totally printing something. Wait, hold
It's
on. I'm gonna see
divorce
what this is
papers.
about.
I'm not
Hold on,
living. I'm
hold
not
on, hold
leaving.
on.
All right. I'm not going to live in this mouse infested heart. I don't know how long the mouse lived for, Mike. I threw it in the garbage can and that was the end of it. I don't know. What can I tell you?
My house may be haunted. A thing fell earlier, and then the printer's making noises, and there's nothing. It doesn't matter.
It's the mice. The mice are taking over.
Stupid.
This is like Willard or Ben, the rap movies with Michael Jackson. Well, he wrote the song. Ben. Good luck. Good luck with that. I don't know. I'm pretty humane when it comes to animals, but if a mouse is in my house and it's, there was only one time, I think in our very first house, they got into the kitchen and they had eaten through the bread bag.
Oh, I've had it in the kitchen before.
Yeah, that's enough. I don't need that.
In
At
our
that point, I'm killing you. If you're in my house, I'm killing you.
No, our apartment in Wicker Park, we had mice.
Ugh.
Actually, in the basement, one time, my friend, my roommate Blake, went to the bathroom in the basement. He opened the toilet lid, and there was a mouse in the toilet that had like
Ooh.
crawled through the pipes or something. He thinks.
Okay.
And so he just kicked it or something and flushed it. Or I don't know what happened. It's crazy. Crazy. So Carbondale.
Yeah, that was it. The Carbondale. No, the party never ends unless it gets to be 8:00. Then the party's got to end.
How do we get on this?
And the party was over. I don't know how we got on talking about mice, but that's fine. That is fine. Now we have to talk about the economy.
No,
or
there's
Kevin
Clerks
Smith.
3.
Huh?
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
All right.
All right, this is super quick. We got like 10 minutes left. But I did see at the Music Box Theater in Chicago, where I proposed to my wife famously. Great theater. They showed the screening of Clerks 3 on Monday and Tuesday. This is sold out Monday, and then added a second show Tuesday. Kevin Smith was going to do a little preface, and then he did a Q&A after the show. Now, do you know anything about Kevin Smith Q&As?
I don't. I know there's probably questions and answers during one of them. I'm going to guess. I don't know.
At least half right.
All right.
So about 10 people get in line for the I'll tell you about the movie in a second. I'll tell you about the movie first. So did you see the original Clerks?
I have seen the original Clerks numerous times.
Oh, okay. Then you would probably, did you see, and you don't remember seeing Clerks 2,
I don't remember seeing Clerks 2.
Okay. Storyline wise, you kind of need to see Clerks 2.
All right.
Now,
I'm sure it's streaming somewhere on one of my many streaming services.
I'm sure. to prepare for Clerks 3, my wife and I watched both. Clerks, the original Clerks is I would say objectively better than Clerks 2 for sure.
Okay.
Clerks 2 has just like a very heavy-handed kind of love plot that works, but it's not like funny. So
Okay.
it takes some real estate
It's
from the
not
movie.
funny.
But if you've seen both movies and you are particularly a fan of Clerks 1, highly recommend Clerks 3. Tons of nostalgia. It's a very meta kind of film. I don't want to give the whole thing away,
Okay.
but it's essentially about kind of one of the characters decides to essentially make a movie about their lives, which
Okay.
by definition is the original Clerks.
Right.
So lots of callbacks, tons of, I mean, almost every character from the original Clerks makes some reappearance.
Is it in black and white?
It's not in black and white,
Okay.
though. Well, I won't spoil any of it, but
Okay.
but it is not in black and white.
Okay.
But what was cool is after the film, Kevin Smith talks about, he's like, part of this film is almost like I'm showing people what I see when I think of Clerks, because you're kind of showing people making the movie, not just the
Right.
movie. And he's like, for me, it was in color. It was my life. It was like working with these people on the set and stuff. So, yeah, it definitely heavy nostalgia. If you haven't seen Clerks in a long time, if you haven't seen it in like 15 years, check it out again to prepare for it. But I highly recommend it. My wife and I laughed a lot. There were a couple of genuinely really funny parts. So a couple of very, very good visual gags throughout. It was really touching. Like it hit some notes. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I would give it 3.5 stars, let's say.
Out of 10?
Out of 4. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were using the traditional rating method or not.
No.
I thought perhaps you would come up with your own.
No.
So as not to be derivative in your ratings.
No.
All right.
No. So
I'll give it a 2 out of 300.
No,
what?
Very hilarious stuff. And then the Kevin Smith Q&A. So there's like 10 people get in line for the microphone. And Kevin Smith goes, look, I don't know if you guys know how this is going to work. When I start talking, there is a very high possibility I'm not going to stop. He's like, I might get to 6 of you. And that's being really optimistic. So the rest of you, like, I don't want to crush your hopes and dreams. Maybe you're young. Maybe you have these dreams for your life. It's not going to happen. Just so you can stand there. You're allowed to stand there. I'm not going to stop you. But I'm telling you right now, at the end of this, you're just going to be like, why did I stand there that whole time? I could have been sitting down. I guarantee you I'm not going to answer your question. And yeah, somebody would ask a question and he would just go on this like 10-minute story every time.
Oh, God.
This is great. I mean, and to the point earlier, to bring it back around, I would have stayed for the whole thing because, of course, we paid for it.
Right.
But I have a wife who is very pregnant, and we also have a 2-year-old, and it was
who's also very pregnant.
He's also very pregnant. After about an hour, we were like, we're good to go, and we ended on a high note. He had a really good question. He had some great stories and anecdotes, and it was just like, if you can ever see Kevin Smith live, just do it. The guy, Brian, I mean.
Did he look sickly?
No, he looked fine.
Okay.
Like the guy can just pull stories out of his butt and just make them like you with radio, but him in like an on-stage version of that, where somebody asked him something and he's like, oh, I got this story about Ben Affleck, and he just tells you this story, but he paints a picture for you. Or somebody asked about some sequel to some movie he made like 20 years ago, if there's going to be a sequel. And he's like, oh, let me tell you this story. And he told the story of going to a hotel, and he told the story of being with a co-star of his. There were like no flights left to LA. There was one seat left on another plane. The guy ditched him to take this flight. So he was stuck in like Atlanta by himself. So he goes to a hotel. He goes out on the balcony to smoke a blunt, and he's got his phone on him, and he starts messing around and watches this movie, and then starts texting the stars of the movie to be like, we should do this again. And then they're like, wait, are you serious? But he just paints this whole picture of like him sitting on a balcony, smoking weed, like texting his friends and texting Ben Affleck. And then, cause they're super good friends, I guess. And, just messing around and stuff. And you're just like, he just like pulls it out. He's so good.
He's a storyteller.
Yes.
And he writes the movies, so he's not just a visual storyteller. And I wonder, did you get the did you get the feeling at all that he's got these stories in his back pocket and he'll match them up to a question that's close, like that he's told that story at the last Q&A and he's going to tell it at the next Q&A. It's just they're going to be in a different order depending on who asks what question.
You know how this is. They don't seem rehearsed.
Right.
But like with
he's
you,
told them before.
You make radio sound easy and natural, but you prepare a lot. So he makes it seem like he is just pulling this out of thin air.
Nice.
And just thinking of a thing and narrating it. But for all I know, he practices in front of a mirror for 2 hours before each show.
Right. Or he's told he goes over what stories he's going to tell that night.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not one or two word answers to questions. It's like, I'm going to tell some stories. I have stories that will match up to most of my questions. And that's not a knock on him at all.
No.
That's not me, diminishing what was happening there. Cause I bet this doesn't matter. If the story's good, the story's good.
But to your point about like, does he just match it to the story? The first guy asked about some movie that's like 20, like there's no reason anyone should have known this movie existed. I didn't. And he's like blowing out this whole thing. So like, the chances that he prepared a story about Tusks 2 or whatever the hell it was, I would say is slim to none. So maybe he's got some back pocket stuff, but there's certainly a level of spontaneity, but he was
so
great.
How long does the Q&A go? You guys left after an hour. Was there a set time limit?
Somebody behind me said it was probably going to be like 2 hours, but I don't know when the music box closed. So I don't really know. The movie was at 7, so it was over by like 9. We left around 11. So for all I know, it went to midnight. I don't know.
That sounds cool though.
It was cool.
I like I like most of his stuff, you know? So that would be cool.
Yeah. So check out Clerks 3. Yeah.
All right, I will. Do you have a minute for you teased the economy? Are we done though? You're going to blow off the economy?
We talked about the economy at the start.
We did. We don't need to talk about the economy. What we need to do is remind everybody that next week is a very special episode. We'll be dealing with depression, suicide, mental health. Oh no, we'll be talking to the two brewers from Goose Island who are going to talk. They are the men responsible for Proprietor's Blend, and we are going to talk about this year's Goose Island Bourbon County Stout releases. It's our always fun yearly episode. So we hope you'll be here for that and ask a lot of questions, and we'll have fun. We'll be tasting some of the beers, and we'll share that with you as well. Not the beer, but our opinions on the beer and things like that, because you'd have to be in one of our spacious studios. I also think that next week I'm going to debut some different background for the people who come on the live stream, the video portion. So that might be something to look forward to.
All right.
A lot going on. Between now and then, who knows? I'm going to be hanging out with a 2-year-old again, eating some eggs and toast. You never know. Never know what could happen. Anything else? Anything you got to plug-a-roo?
I'll have a review of the opera next week.
Oh, you're fancy.
Yeah.
You are fancy. Maybe I'll watch a rock opera so I have something to, or maybe I'll wear maybe I'll wear a monocle. Who knows? Either way, thank you for being with us this week. As always, tell your friends. Mike, that's exactly what I'm going to have after the big announcement. I'm going to put a big Trump 2024 flag in the background. I'm going to debut my MAGA hat. Cooter Holland will be co-hosting Realities May Vary with Cody from now on. It's going to be very, very exciting. I'll be smoking Winston Lights and wearing a flag tank top and perhaps calling Debbie my old lady for a while. That's going to be fun because I love America. So yeah, look forward to all of that. Now you really want to tell your friends. Now you really got to get involved. Have a lovely week, Cody the G.
And you as well.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for telling your friends. Thanks for, I don't know. I can't give much more thanks. Talk to you next week.
Bye.